Hey everybody, one of these fun topics that I love diving into that maybe not everybody loves, but when it comes to thriving in retirement, I always say you got to get out of your own way. There's so many cognitive biases out there, and you don't even know that you're falling victim to them. So let's get an understanding of the psychology of finance, one of my fun topics that I love working with. So let's start with what are cognitive biases. Well, they're systematic errors in thinking that affect the decisions and judgments that we make, right? These are mental shortcuts and they develop just from our own lives, right? So information processing limitations of the human brain cause these things. This is not something that this person's got a problem with that person doesn't. No, everybody's got it to a certain extent. Emotional and moral motivations change how we view things. Social influences and peer pressure, mental shortcuts that simplify decision making. These are all things that are in this world of cognitive biases. And when it comes to this financial planning world, these lead to poor investment choices, market inefficiencies, and wealth destruction, like blowing out your portfolio because of bad spending habits or otherwise. So despite your best intentions, you got to get out of your own way. Very important. So let's dive into these. The first one is the overconfidence bias. Okay, I see this one all the time. I see the vast majority of these all the time. When you're that fly on the wall, just sitting back watching, you start noticing this stuff the more you learn about it and understand it. Okay, this increases with experience and past successes. Okay, we tend to forget those failures and remember the successes when you hit that one hole in one. That doesn't mean you're a fantastic golfer. It means you hit a hole in one. That's it. Right? So make sure we understand that those past experiences are influencing this naturally. So when we look at this overconfidence bias, this is the tendency to overestimate your knowledge and abilities and ability to process information. Sometimes you start believing you can consistently beat the market because of your superior skills or you just know more than others. That's an example, but we see it in a lot of different ways. But here's some real serious proof in the pudding. And I've always screamed this from the highest levels. These actively traded portfolios, I think, are just simple ridiculousness. It's a sales spiel to people make you think that they're doing their job. Well, here it is. Research shows 64% of investors believe they have a high investment expertise. They believe they can beat the market with their trading skills. Yet only 25% of active funds outperform the market over a 10-year period. How is this an enormous discrepancy, right? Over time, you might have some successes here and there, but over time, the average is out and you're getting your butts kicked. Okay. It's just the way it is. So the consequences, excessive trading, under diversification, and taking on inappropriate levels of risk. Studies show that this overconfidence bias, they earn a return that's 4 to 6% lower than the market average. Proof's in the pudding. This is very easy to go study this, especially with all these actively traded mutual fund managers. Don't let them make you think they're doing their job by buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling and trying to flip through things. It does not mean they're doing their job. Matter of fact, a lot of the times for the average investor, that means you're really losing to the attrition of fees and taxation. So, next one, confirmation bias, the tendency to search for, interpret, and recall information that confirms your pre-existing beliefs, right? Most people can say, "Oh yeah, it's probably true." It's a funny thing. You can do this when you go buy a new car. You like your new car, and then you start seeing them everywhere. It's that confirmation bias. We're aware and looking for it. We want confirmation that we did the right thing. Investors follow analysts who share their outlook, dismiss negative information about favored investments, and it creates this echo chamber in investment communities. I find this in the investment clubs at some of these retirement communities and 50 plus type communities. They all seem to talk about and chatter about the same thing and don't like getting challenged. I find that sitting in front of me in my office all the time. It's very normal. We just want to know that we're right. Of course, that's how it works. Be careful. Anchoring. Weirdly, I see this one a lot too. The tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information encountered. Okay, that's your anchor. So when we're making decisions, the first person that got to you, they're the ones that are always right. So focusing on purchase price rather than current value. What you purchased an investment for means nothing today. The market doesn't know where you want to get back to or where it's going. No, nobody cares what you paid for that. Okay, that's a sunk cost. It's something you can't control. What you can control is what happens today going forward. Okay, basing decisions on arbitrary pricing targets is ridiculousness. Using historical highs and lows as reference points is meaningless. Going forward is a whole new ballgame. Okay, don't let that past information change the way you're looking at this. The tendency to follow and imitate what others do. Herd mentality. We all know this one. This one's an obvious one. Fear of missing out keeps us doing what everybody else does. You are sheeple. We all are. Reality is we all want to be a part of the crowd in a lot of cases, unless you're a contrarian. All right, so creates market bubbles, everybody in, everybody out. Amplifies market volatility, leads to buying high and selling low. Be careful. Be careful. The people that did the best in the pandemic didn't do a thing. It was real easy to get out, but so hard to get back in. And boy, was that rocket launch wonderful coming out of that pandemic crash. So, loss aversion. I mean, is somebody happy when they lose? Of course there's loss aversion. We don't like losing, but when you really study this and look at this, it's kind of obvious. The tendency to prefer avoiding losses over acquiring equivalent gains, right? We got to look at that. This is a problem. This is why people get too conservative. Well, some people can afford to be too conservative. It makes them happy, and I'm okay with it. Many of my clients know that and understand that. They have the amount of money that allows them to choose how they invest. And if it makes them happy, I don't care. It's perfectly fine. My job is to make sure you go enjoy your retirement and achieve your goals. If one of your goals is giving your heirs as much money as possible and you choose to be as conservative as you could possibly be, well, you're not achieving your goal. So we have to think through that. It's a give and take, right? The pain of losing is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining. Now, how they go through and make that actual assessment, who knows? But the reality is in my experience, that's what I see. This confirmed my belief. So I went out and found what confirmed my belief. So 2 times pain of loss. Losing $100 feels about twice as bad as the pleasure of gaining $100. Okay. So investors typically prefer avoiding a $2,000 loss over gaining $3,000. You can look through these scenarios and twist them and turn them, but the reality is this is psychologically ingrained in a lot of people. This is very normal. Loss aversion. So when we look at all these things, we got to understand their impact. Okay, emotions override rational analysis during market volatility for sure. Okay, when we're making high stakes, decisions, we have to be careful of these biases. Okay, poor asset allocation, market timing errors. We got so many things that this stuff affects. This is why having a good, clean written plan is what's so important. Okay, reduces returns, unnecessary taxation and fees. I see this all the time. Oh, I don't need to do that, or I don't want to use that, or I don't want to annuity, bad, this, that, all these things that you come up with, these biases that are really just clouding your decision-making skills. Research shows that the average equity fund investor underperforms the S&P 500 by 4.5%. That's over the last 40 or 30 years. And it's largely due to these behavioral errors. Okay? So here's how we do this. Here's how we get through this. Implement rules-based system, create predetermined investment criteria, and automate processes to remove emotional decision-making. Something as simple as your paycheck deduction for your 401k. Little things like that. Having a written plan. Saying, here's how I'm going to do this. This is how we do it. Okay? Seek diverse perspectives. Challenge yourselves. Please, this is huge. Seek out people that disagree with you. Okay? Actively challenge yourself. That's called critical thinking. Okay? Consider counter arguments. Discuss decisions with third parties. Have good discussions, not confirming discussions. Everybody can't be a yes man around you. Okay? Post-mortem analysis. Imagine your decision has failed. Work backward. Determine how it could have been caused. Reduce overconfidence. Identify potential pitfalls. Create contingency plans. So the reality is having somebody to work through these things with you, to be unemotional, becomes important, because your own money and your own plan is emotional. And you want to find reasons that you're right. People that challenge you are going to help in those decision-making skills and make things even better. Okay? So finding an advisor that you can work with that is okay disagreeing with you occasionally, that maybe sees things differently, because you have to understand the fact that they are not emotionally connected to it, that they see this, it's clinical to them. They see it every day. I look at it like my mother was a nurse her whole life, and everything is just clinical when it comes to medicine. Even when my father has a health issue, it's just clinical, it's just medicine, it's it's rules-based. There's no emotion in that. So having a good advisor that understands what they're doing, that is knowledgeable, well-rounded, understanding taxation and investing, and doesn't have the biases, becomes a very good way for you to work through and come up with a plan that is right for you. And you will achieve much better results. Okay? We have these cognitive biases. We have to recognize them. We have to admit that we have them, and we have to find our ways to work through them. It's okay to have arguments. They're constructive. All right? If I can help in any way, yourinvestmentcounselor.com. I love this stuff. This is weird, I know, but this is the reality of what we live with every day. And I see people making mistakes and bad decisions quite often, and it can all be boiled down to this. It's the psychology of finance. So yourinvestmentcounselor.com. Always happy to be your counselor. I've had fun with that. Some of our clients consider me their marriage counselor. It's kind of fun. So you can jump on there. You can schedule a free meet and greet, or go straight to an hourly if you want. Full classes, fpfeaz.org. Also, just check out our SES web down on the bottom there, sesweb.net. That website is our full company website. We've got some of our classes, and I'm adding to them all the time. Our full classes are on there, pre-recorded, ready to go if you want to go watch them on demand. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't. I've got new videos every single week, and we will see you soon. Thanks again.